Charlie Robinson. I'm the author of The Octopus of Global Control. Started a podcast called Macroaggressions in 2020 in order to promote my books. Did not know that that was going to be as well received as it is. I wrote a book with Jeff Berwick in 2020 called The Controlled Demolition of the American Empire, and that became a #1 bestseller on Election Day 2020 in the United States and Australia, which was ironic because if you had ever read the book, you'd never vote in an election again, you know. So we loved the timing of that, and after my work with Jeff, I wrote a third book called Hypocrisy that came out in 2021, and I'm the new owner of Activist Post, which is a fantastic independent news website that's been around for 15 years. It was part of the 2016 Disinformation 200 list, along with WikiLeaks and Zero Hedge and Activist Post and a bunch of other companies, and it was taken, their advertising revenue was taken out. It was seen as a threat. I bought the company in 2024 in an all Bitcoin transaction, relaunched the site in the January of 2025, and it's been a fantastic resource for independent journalists who are writing about things when it matters most, when it's dangerous, not safe dangerous 4 years later. So we republish articles from independent journalists from all over the world. If this were a Venn diagram, the Anarchapulco audience and the Activist Post audience would overlap almost completely. It is free thinkers from around the world. It's been a subversive website producing outstanding content, of course, but it's been viewed as a problem by the establishment. Now, a lot of people would turn away if they saw that the powers that be are going after a certain site, or they cut your advertising out. I actually see that as a benefit. I wouldn't want to be around involved in a website that was loved by the authorities. That would probably be the last thing I would want. So we are definitely subversive in that we are talking about issues that are inconvenient to the establishment, and the sort of people that go to freedom conferences would obviously be reading Activist Post, but not limited to that, because there's a little bit of something for everyone. In fact, when we rebuilt the site, we broke it up into 8 categories, but we made sure that one of the categories was solutions. Because, you know, it's one thing to complain about the issues that we see in the world, and of course we could, there's plenty to bitch about, but if you're not offering solutions as well, then you're just scaring your audience, and you're putting them in a vulnerable spot. So we like to talk about the things that are important, and some of them are definitely scary, but we also are extremely sensitive to making sure that people have actionable information that they can turn into solutions so that they can move themselves, maybe not end this global tyranny, but at least move themselves out of the direct line of fire.
And you obviously have a lot of passion for what lies ahead with this website and the work that you're going to accomplish with it. What would you ultimately like to see happen? What is the work that's going to go on in the next couple of years, 2-3 years? Where does that sort of lead us into?
Well, we want to do Activist Plus, a premium component of the site, because there's some topics that we need to talk about behind closed doors. I mean, you can play that game with putting it on social media or on these video platform sites, but that content gets taken down. You make yourself a big target. So sometimes you have to move the conversation off the public and into the private sphere. And with Activist Plus, which we're planning to launch this year, it will also give us the opportunity to pay independent journalists for their stories. Right now, it's hard to make money in the alternative media. It's almost impossible. You almost take a vow of poverty if you want to work in the independent media. And I would like to find a way to pay these writers for the articles that they contribute, and I think we can do that with Activist Plus. So that's something that we're working on for 2026. That's the future of this. It will be a free site, of course, with everything that you want. But also, if you're looking to add on or go a little deeper or have some conversations that are tougher, we're going to have to put that behind a paywall for obvious reasons.
And what sort of intersection are we going to see between this website and your podcast, Macroaggressions? Is it going to go deeper than Macroaggressions? Are you sort of limited as to how far you can go?
unlimited in how far we can go. In fact, it's international in scope. It's my podcast on steroids because it covers stories all over the world. I tend to specialize in things that are happening in the United States, North America. I get a little bit of the UK. But the journalists that we're republishing there are embedded in the Middle East. Patrick Henningsen, who spoke today at Anarchapulco, we republish everything that he puts out. 21st Century Wire is a fantastic resource, and so we're happy to do that, and we're happy that people will go to Activist Post and read the articles and then follow those writers to their sites. We make sure that we tell the reader, this is the journalist, this is where they write, this is how you can get a hold of them, right? So we want to make sure that we're a clearinghouse for information, but hey, come to us and then go somewhere else as well if you want to dig down into a deeper, a deeper level of understanding with some of these journalists that we work with. And in the summer of 2024, I was invited by Whitney Webb, Derek Brose, and Ryan Christian to be a part of something called the Independent Media Alliance. And that was a group of 18 of us that are editors, publishers, writers, and we are working together to help elevate our information, network efficiently. We're talking about guys like James Corbett, Catherine Austin Fitz, Jason Bassler, a really outstanding group of people that are a part of this. And so what we're doing is we're just having to acknowledge the media landscape, recognize that there's massive fraud coming from the mainstream media, and then offer the people something better, a solution to the problem of the mainstream corporate press. Activist Post is the one-stop shop where you can find information about cryptocurrencies, the economy, empire, health, podcasts. We have podcasts there, and solutions and activism as well. So there's a lot going on at that website, and it's been fantastic for me to it's the evolution. I write books, that turned into a podcast to promote the books. The podcast turned into Activist Post. And the thing I noticed was that the time window, the time frame shrunk. When I write a book, it's a 2-year process of writing it. By the time it goes out, some of the information is a bit obsolete. With the podcast, it was nice because I'm putting out 2 episodes a week. So now I get a chance to connect with people twice weekly. With Activist Post, it's 10 articles a day, every day, forever. So it's extremely fresh and relevant. It allows me to focus on what's happening now, as opposed to something like a podcast or a book, which talks about what happened in the past.
Well, and the landscape is moving so fast right now that a book does, because it's 2 years of heavy lifting. At least this website is going to be much more immediate.
Well, as an example of that, when I wrote The Controlled Demolition of the American Empire with Jeff Berwick, I was done with my part, and I was waiting for Jeff to finish his. And it was February of 2020. I wanted to launch, I thought it would be great for us to launch the book at Anarchapulco, February 2020. Think about that. 3 weeks later, COVID kicked off, right? Had we not had that in the book would have been obsolete, right? So things change. It's 2 years of writing that book, but if we had missed that last 3 weeks, might as well throw it in the trash. So with the books, you're looking at a much longer runway, but some of that information becomes unnecessary, obsolete, or incorrect by the time you go to publishing. So that's the trick of it. So I've now found a way that I can set these longer term goals with the books that take a little bit longer, podcasts for the intermediate, and then day-to-day with Activist Post.
Are you currently writing a new book?
Yeah, I'm writing a new book on eugenics.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
It's dark.
Okay.
And I've been working on it for 3 years. And the reason why it's taken so long is because I have to walk away from it from time to time. The information is extremely dark. And it does something to you. If you work with it too long, it can hurt your soul. So I tend to write during the summers and then take the winters off from it. And this book has been heavy. It's been heavy. And when it comes out, I think it might be the last book I write. It's so much work I kind of put writing books in the same category as women who have babies, right? When they have the babies, I'm never doing that again. But there's something in your mind that allows you to have amnesia and forget about the pain of it all, and you wind up doing it anyway. That's book writing. The first time, if I didn't know, first time I wrote The Octopus of Global Control in 2017, had I known how much work that was, I probably would have never done it. But then it falls, you know, you forget about it. Jeff Berwick contacts you. Hey, you want to write a book together? Yeah, it sounds great, right? And the next thing you know, you got a second book, and then I'm never going to do that again. So calm down. And here comes the third book, and it's like, so never say never. But I feel like this might be the last book that I have in me for at least a while.
He says.
He says.
A lot of times with writers, you hear this with actors too. It's the book that scares you. That sort of tells you that's the one you need to go after. Was this an example of one of those types of moments? Like, why this subject? It is so dark and it is so painful. What was it inside of you in your belly? What was that fire that told you this is the one?
Yeah. When I wrote The Octopus of Global Control, I realized that these people were planning a world government. World governance, to be precise. And there's an underlying theme that goes along with this. It's not the first time these lunatics have had the idea of world government. Many empires and people have contemplated this over the years. But there's a secondary component to it that nobody talks about. And it goes like this. This world government thing would be a whole lot easier if it wasn't for all these people. And so whenever you talk about world government, just below the surface is eugenics and depopulation, because it's a thinning of the herd to make everything a bit easier for them. So you can't write about these control structures and not ultimately find out that they're planning, they have been putting in place a detailed plan of eugenics, depopulation, and that they're extremely organized and very dangerous, and this has been going on for a long time. And unfortunately, the reason why I'm writing the book now is because we may be getting to a point where the technology is such that we cross the point of no return. And whether that's with medical injections and things like that, or just ultimately the technological overlords are they're working to enslave us. We're getting to the point now where it's now or never. And so this book has to come out as soon as I can get it out, and because I think it's important for people to not to dwell on it and not to be scared of it, but to recognize that it is a real thing, that eugenics has been around for a long time, and that in the late 50s, the head of the British Eugenics Society, Sir Julian Huxley, rebranded eugenics into a new name that was better for the future. The name they chose was transhumanism. So when Klaus Schwab talks about the fourth industrial revolution, the blending of man with machine into transhumanism, what he's actually talking about is eugenics. Now, they can't say that because the sales pitch would be awful if you talked about mass murder, but that's what it is. Because most people think that it's a robot arm. You know, you lose your arm and you're going to get some sort of benefit there. That's not what transhumanism is. Transhumanism is making an entire generation of people maybe legally no longer human. You have as an example, perhaps you've taken too many injections, you have mRNA technology in your body. At what point are you classified as no longer pure blood human? You are maybe something other than. You might even have a problem with the patents that are inside your body. You might even be owned by one of these companies. But I can envision a scenario in which they decide that, human rights are great and all, but you're just not human anymore, legally speaking. And that opens them up to the possibility that they can do whatever they want with you. Buy you, sell you, trade you, put you down. Again,
duplicate you, put you in a mainframe.
For sure. Yeah. So it's a potentially dark future. I don't say that to put people in a state of panic. I say it as the reality. Understand it, educate yourself, move out of the way to the extent that you can, and but do not dismiss this.
Now, this may be my last question, and you know, you're somebody in the Anarchy community, in the Anarchapulco community, who's really been able to find his voice. A lot of people that come to Anarchapulco, and probably who listen to your material, whether it's through a podcast or through your books or through this through the website that you're about to launch. It hasn't launched yet, right?
No, Activist Post is out.
What's that again?
Activist Post is available.
Okay.
Activist Plus has not launched yet. The premium component of it. Yeah, we wanted to do the free one first, make sure we dialed it in, got it right, and then afterwards we're going to
sort of build your audience and the awareness.
For sure. And of course, the audience has been there for 15 years. Yeah. Make sure, hey, I'm okay. I'm a good guy. I'm on your side. Those guys said, hey, we want you to buy this company. It wasn't me, some corporate asshole coming in and I'm going to buy all these. No, they reached out to me. They messaged me, would you please buy it? We love the company. We've been doing this for 15 years. We're ready to do something else, but it's our baby and we want it to be in good hands, and we think that, you know, you would be a good fit for it. And of course I said no. I said no right away. But you know why I said yes? 2 days after that, I was in the shower. I had a moment, and that moment was tied back to Anarchapulco, because 4 months earlier, while I was here in Mexico, I did a ceremony with Shaman Bearheart, a Bufo ceremony, and in the aftermath of that, I had a knowing, hard to explain, of course, but a knowing I would have a bigger voice. Now, I assumed that meant an 8-part documentary series that I was talking to people about. I'm looking to do this, and you guys want to be involved? And so I was talking about that in Anarchapulco, so that's got to be what it is, right? But 4 months later, the guys from Activist Post reach out and say, hey, we're interested in this thing. And I say no. But when I was in the shower, I thought, hey, this is it. This is the bigger voice. Dang, it hit me. And when it hits you, when the universe is giving you the signal that you're looking for, it's up to you to act on it. So I had to get honest. I emailed them the next day. I said, change my mind. Yes, I would love to do it. Let's go. And it's been the greatest thing I've ever done. So happy.
So it's really kind of a byproduct of listening to the universe.
It is. But that's an acquired skill. Because it's so easy to say, no, you don't know what I want, or you're talking to somebody else and pretend that you know how this whole process works. The hardest thing you can do is take your hands off the wheel and let it happen. And that's what I'm having to learn how to do, which is hard, but when you do that, magical things sometimes take place, and it's my job to receive it, to recognize it when I see it, and then receive it and say, yep, this is what I wanted. It might come in a different form or fashion than I thought or that I was expecting, or maybe at a different time, but when it happens, I only have one job, and that is to act on it, and that's what I did.
So now that you've come this far, for those of us who come to Anarchapulco to do the work that Jeff Berwick talks about, do the work, you've obviously done a lot of work. You work with Bearheart, that's one example of doing the work. How would you guide others to go about finding their own voice?
I encourage people to come to Anarchapulco who are at a crossroads in their life. It's kind of a running theme over the last couple days here. Well, really, ever since I've been coming to Anarchapulco. People come, they know they want something, they're looking for it, they don't know who it is or what it is, but they know they need to put themselves in a position for something good to happen. And so you come to this event and synchronicities are abound. People that you wanted to see are there. People who you've been watching and reading their books or listening to their podcasts, they're all there. But there's 1,000 other people from all over the world, and it's such a fascinating network of people that are doing interesting things. So one of the concepts I really kind of understood with Anarchapulco was they're not trying to fix a broken system. That system was built broken. There's no reason to fix that. They're looking to build outside of the system, a parallel structure, something that is different than. And so for anybody who's feeling disconnected from their friends or family, or things are weird now and they used to not be weird, and I don't know where my tribe is and everybody's rejected and I'm not, and I don't know who, come to Anarchapulco and just allow yourself to be in a place where magic happens. And you can come down here and you'll meet interesting people. At the bare minimum, you're in Mexico in February. How bad can that be, right? But in the best case scenario, it changes your life. This is my favorite week of the year. I unfortunately come home with mixed feelings. So excited to have the experience that I had, and yet a bit of sadness for having to go back to the real world. But I'm not so sure how long the real world is going to remain the real world. We have some extremely intelligent people working on solutions here, and I'm excited to see where the future goes. My name's Charlie Robinson. I'm the host of the Macroaggressions podcast. You can find me at macroaggressions.io. You can go to activistpost.com, and you can download my podcast wherever podcasts are served.
Palm trees whisper, freedom in the breeze. Oceans hymn, no chains, no pleas, no rulers, no kings, no scripts to recite. Burn the old book, let the phoenix ignite. Rebirth on the sand, where the rebels convene. A Genesis scene, mind sharp and keen. Dollars to dust, trust in the soul. Anarchapulco, where we break the mold. Anarchapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke. Anarchapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke. Beach bonfires start spark like flint. Ideas ricochet, no permission, no stint. Borders dissolve, minds expand. Every soul sovereign, every mind grand. No contract signed, just a handshake truth. Ancient wisdom reborn in the fountain of youth. Rules crumble like castles at high tide. Revolution lives where the dreamers reside. Golden horizon, the birth of the free. Echoes of laughter, the waves decree. Freedom is anthem, a beat in the chest. Anarchapulco, where the restless rest. Anarchapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke. Anarchapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, Anarchapulco spoke.
With performing artist Ayame.